A plus A Chapter 114, Thrashing. Let me ask something. Since I already have this thing, do I still need to steal another? Ling Han looked at Feng Luo and smiled. Why did this guy have to use this badge, of all things, to try to set him up? Of course, he had already discovered it when Wei He Lei intruded the night before. If they had intended to set him up with something like female undergarments, he would have definitely delivered everything back to Wei He Lei's place the very same night. Everyone was speechless at this. Having a single token was a sign of social status, but having two did not mean that your status would be any higher. Who knows? Maybe stealing is your hobby, Feng Luo argued. However it is, the lost item was found in your place, so you must definitely be a thief. Idiot! Ling Han shook his head. Idiocy is really an illness. You experienced so many losses at my hands and you still don't understand yet? In my eyes, you are only a mere clown. Nonsense! Feng Luo jumped up. My brother is Feng Yan, the leader of the younger generation, and in the future he would definitely become an invincible existence of the new era. You are completely unqualified to become my foe. How noisy! Ling Han's expression turned cold all of a sudden, and he began to walk towards Feng Luo. It looks like you would still misbehave if you don't get beaten up some more today. What are you trying to do? Feng Luo took a few steps back. He knew that he was no match for Ling Han. Can't you tell? I am of course going to thrash you. I am truly worried about your lack of intelligence. Ling Han shook his head. One of his arms was still firmly holding on to who knew, but against a person like this, whose cultivation level of element gathering tier had been raised completely with the use of alchemical medicines, a single arm would be more than enough. Ling Han, you dare! Ming pointed at Ling Han, his face filled with furious rage. To directly express his intention to thrash someone in front of him, the team leader of the discipline committee, like this, did Ling Han think he doesn't exist? Heng, I will settle things with you later. Ling Han glanced at him, his eyes cold and dark. He said to the third Imperial Prince, Your Highness, do me a favor and don't allow him to interfere. This tone! Everyone was shocked dumb. Are you ordering around the third Imperial Prince like a servant? In the whole Imperial City, aside from the Rain Emperor, who dared to command the third Imperial Prince in this way? The third Imperial Prince rubbed his nose a bit and said, Don't worry, Brother Ling. Yes, Feng Yan did indeed have endless future prospects, but his current cultivation level was not even a match for him. Ling Han, on the other hand, had already obtained the full support of Fuyuan Sheng. There was completely no need to compare these two people. Since there was a need for him to make a choice between the two of them, then it was an extremely easy choice to make. Pooh! Everyone once again choked. The third Imperial Prince actually agreed. A noble member of the Imperial family, and also one of the most beloved children of the Rain Emperor, actually agreed to Ling Han's request. This had to be some fantasy. Ling Han smiled softly. In his last life, who knew how many emperors were begging to do something for him? It was actually him who had given face to the third Imperial Prince, all right? If it was not for the fact that his cultivation level was a bit low now, what need would there be for him to ask the third Imperial Prince for help? Ling Han. Xuanhuan took a step forward. He was Feng Yan's lackey, and if he simply watched as Feng Luo was thrashed, how would he be able to face Feng Yan in the future? Stay back. The crimson-haired beauty jumped out to place herself between Ling Han and Xuanhuan. Although the third Imperial Prince had agreed to hold Xuanhuan back for Ling Han, how could the Imperial Prince really make a move himself? Your Highness, this is the Huyang Academy, so I would like to plead with Your Highness to please not make things difficult for me. Xuanhuan said to the third Imperial Prince with gritted teeth. Who do you think you are? So what if we make things difficult for you? The crimson-haired beauty shouted in reprimand. Her hands moved and she withdrew 2 daggers from her waist. The daggers gleamed blue, as if they were made of crystal, yet a coldness that struck fear into one's heart seemed to emanate from these 2 blades. The third Imperial Prince did not say a word. Obviously, he was aware of his own status, and disdained to argue with Xuanhuan. Ling Han did not bother about them, and simply continued to advance towards Feng Luo. Don't come near me! Don't come near me! Although there were over 10 people here, Feng Luo did not feel any sense of safety. He continued to step back and turned around in preparation to flee. Ling Han shot forward and caught up with him, then grabbed onto Feng Luo's shirt. He pulled his arm back and peng. Feng Luo had fallen onto the ground. Ling Han smiled calmly and said, "People say that once wounds recover, the pain is forgotten. You, on the other hand, have just had your whole mouth of teeth shattered just the day before yesterday, and now actually dare to once again trifle with me. Do you really not know how the word dead is written?" "Ling Han, don't you dare go too far. My brother is Feng Yan," Feng Luo said loudly. He was only left with this one trump card to play. I know. You've already said this a lot of times," Ling Han said with a smile. "Pa," and his foot had kicked out and struck Feng Luo. Peng, 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 peng. He gave Feng Luo a heavy thrashing. After he was done, he finally took a step back, Hu Nu still in his hold, and said, "Tell the complete truth about your attempts to set me up." "Nonsense, I did not set you up." Feng Luo groaned. He still had this little bit of intelligence. If he admitted publicly that he had set Ling Han up in front of all these people, then the lightest punishment he would get would be expulsion from the academy. "Let's see how long you can maintain your stubbornness." Ling Han invited Hu Nu to join him, and together, the two of them thrashed Feng Luo enthusiastically. Everyone around them sucked on their teeth in secret. There were more than 10 members of the discipline committee here, plus a teacher and the third imperial prince. Yet Ling Han actually dared to thrash Feng Luo in front of so many people. He was indeed extremely brave. Really arrogant. Really awesome. Feng Luo was not a person with indomitable will. Very soon, he could no longer endure being pummeled, and recounted how he had planned to set Ling Han up. He had even revealed An Shui-ming's part in his plans, completely betraying his teammate. Hearing him reveal the truth, An Shui-ming and Wei Heihei paled, wanting nothing more than to bite the fool to death. "Hang!" The third imperial prince immediately put on a severe expression and said, "An Shui-ming, as a team leader of the discipline committee, you actually dare to break the rules. Though I am not a member of the discipline committee, but as an imperial prince of Rain Country, I will suggest to the academy to give you a severe punishment." No. An Shui-ming was filled with fear and horror at this, almost going into an emotional breakdown. "You all have heard Feng Luo's confession, right?" The third imperial prince cast a severe look at the other members of the discipline committee, and with no exception, everyone nodded. Are you kidding? Feng Yan was merely a true disciple, while the third imperial prince was a core disciple. Merely comparing these two different statuses was enough for them to know which side to choose. Moreover, one of them was an imperial prince, who had a chance of inheriting the throne in the future, who would dare oppose his words? "No, I have nothing to do with this. It was all Feng Luo's commands," Wei Heilei said, trembling in fear. He really felt very wronged in this. He stood up for Feng Luo the day before yesterday, and the result was being expelled from the alchemy department by Wu Songlin, and now he tried to set up Ling Han under Feng Luo's command. The result would likely be even more horrible. Why was he so unfortunate? "Whatever you have to say it when you are at the discipline committee." The third imperial prince gave a wave of his hand and said, "Take them away." Understood. The other members of the discipline committee coldly did as he said. At the end of the day, this Huyang Academy was established by the imperial family, and the third imperial prince could definitely be considered as half their master. Who dared to disobey his commands? Feng Luo and the other two were completely pale as they were escorted away by the discipline committee.